Captain Siya Kolisi and his team will bid to become the first nation in history to win the Rugby World Cup 4 times. I'm now joined by former Springbok himself, that's Rudy Paige, once again on Newzroom Afrika. Rudy, good afternoon and welcome back. I'm a little bit calmer chatting to you today. The last time we were eager to get through out of the group stages. Here we are. What do the cards say on your side as a former Springbok player? How do we fare against New Zealand tonight?
First of all, afternoon everyone. Excited to be on Newzroom obviously today again. I'm quite confident. As you can see, I've got a big smile on my face. I think if I'm correct, it's probably the 4th time we're in the World Cup final, so it's a 50% from all World Cups that we have qualified to play in that we've been in the final. So I'm extremely confident South African and Springbok today.
Let's talk about the opponents, having met them just previously, a short while ago. A lot of cards are now wide open. How would you approach this match as a coach, looking at what Coach Ninaber has at his disposal for the caliber of players he's selected for the match tonight?
Looking at the team he selected, first of all, it is quite a similar one to the one we played at Twickenham, the game before the World Cup, where he went innovating style with a 7-1 split on the bench, and it looks similar. I think the rain conditions is going to be wet and raining, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of tries, unfortunately, for all us as fans tonight. But I think we're going to play to our strengths. I think Jack Nidawa and Rassie Erasmus are going to play to South African strengths and make them kind of trying to beat us instead of we trying to be fancy and funny. So it's going to be a lot of scrum, line-outs and set-piece rugby today, and to pure South African strengths, and that is our big physical ability to dominate other rugby teams.
Will the weather have an impact in how we approach the game tonight, Rudy?
I think the weather had an impact in our team selection, and it forced us into playing a bit more forwards than some of us wanted the team to be. So I think it will definitely have an impact. But I think we are extremely lucky that a lot of South Africans are playing rugby either in Europe, either in the UK. So they'll be well rounded to the raining conditions and will be well adapted and equipped to be able to do a really good job for the country tonight.
This is the 106th time that the Springboks will clash against the All Blacks. A lot of history between the two sides. Now, we're talking about a World Cup final. Do we look at the history, the numbers, the stats, or do these, as usual, when it comes to a cup final, they get tossed away? You're focusing on the minutes that are at hand for the final.
If you asked me before the World Cup, I would have probably said yes. You go look at the numbers, you go look at the history. But this World Cup has been anything but typical. So I think for us, all of us rugby lovers and rugby fans, having South Africa play New Zealand in the rugby final is probably dreams comes true for everyone. It's the two rivals, it's the two best teams, in my opinion, in the world. And that's been for the past 20 years. But I think it's going to be honestly up to a lot of things tonight. I am extremely confident that the Springbok ticks all of the right boxes in my mind. But the All Blacks is a tough team. They're a historical team. They got the best winning percentage out of all the teams throughout World Cups, throughout rugby games. So it will be difficult. I think South Africans must strap ourselves in for another nail-biting game at 9 o'clock tonight, where it's going to go down to the wire, and hopefully the green and gold will be victorious tonight. I'm really hoping tonight.
Now let's talk about the venue. New Zealand having won 4 and South Africa 3. And who does the venue favor more in terms of the style of play and how they'll be approaching it then? We're looking at Twickenham, the history in terms of the performance between the two sides on that particular stadium.
When you look at the stadium's Stade de France, I've been fortunate enough to play there. So from a surface point of view, it will be excellent. Once you talk about atmosphere, you don't get much better than that place. Luckily, it's a neutral venue for both teams, so I don't think there's going to be a crowd favor or any favoritism when it comes to the crowd itself. But I do believe South African team is built for this type of final games. I believe we got the right, we tick the right criteria in our team selection. So we can play anywhere in the world, really. And that's me being really confident and trying to be as unbiased as possible. So I really think the venue won't play a part. I really think the weather won't play a part. The only thing that might play a part tonight, and that is the realities of rugby at the moment, is yellow or red cards and injuries. Yeah. And that's unforeseen stuff. Other than that, I think our team and we as South Africans can be extremely confident that our team has got all of the right stuff in it to make us again victorious tonight.
Rudy, what can we read into the previous encounter between the two sides? A lot of South Africans that are just rugby-loving fans are not looking at the stats per se as you would have, or as experienced players are. They would probably be saying, look, we've just played these guys. Surely we should have an upper hand. What can we as South Africans read into that previous match?
Well, in the previous match that really stood out for me is our dominance, the fact that I think we figured a way out to beat New Zealand. And that's just not in the previous match. I think it's the past 18 months. If I'm not correct, we've beaten them 3 times in the past 18 months, which is actually, in past years, that really hasn't happened. So I think the current management group, Rassie and Jacques, has found a way to beat New Zealand teams. And that is through gaining a lot of penalties and making them feel under pressure through the scoreboard. And I think that is what we can expect tonight again. And that's why I think Rassie went selecting Andre Pollard, Dwayne Vermeulen, and those lot of forwards in the bomb squad. He's going to try and create a lot of penalty opportunity for us to play in the right half of the field. And I think that's when Springbok rugby is at its best.
Rudy, before I let you go, where will this game be won and lost?
This is going to be very cliche. It's going to be very old school. Rugby is won in the forwards. It's won between 1 and 8. That's where the Oxen Chairs, the Stephen Kitsoffs, the Bongi Nambis, the Eben Etzebes, the Peter Steph du Toits, the Trevor Nyakanis, that's where they're going to have an effect in this game. It is honestly going to be a game where whatever pack dominates this game will be victorious. And I will actually put a lot of money on that because that's how confident I am that rugby has changed a lot in years, but it's also in the same breath, it's also stayed the same. So it will be one up front, and that will never change.
Rudy, thank you so much for your in-depth analysis. It was great having you chat to us before we let you go and enjoy the game a bit later right here on Newzroom Afrika. That was former Springbok player Rudy Paige giving us his full analysis on the upcoming finale.